We're glad you're with us this evening. I'm Terry Brewer. Lynn Brooks has the evening off. Sunday will mark 10 years since the September 11th terrorist attacks, and the country is already pausing to remember that day. At 5, we're hearing from veterans who served in the war on terror, seeing how the world is remembering 9/11 and looking at how West Alabama has changed since then. We begin with our top story, the men and women who have served the nation in the years since 9/11. For 10 years, men and women serving in the military have been fighting the war on terror and serving in Iraq and Afghanistan. Some of West Alabama's veterans of these wars tell us they've never lost sight of why they were fighting. After September 11th, it was clear why they were there and what their mission was.
Here in Tuscaloosa and Alabama in general, you know, we're lucky to have a great, population that's very supportive of the military and the mission we have. And, I've been a lot of places in this world, and Alabamans, I think, really understand, what's going on in the world and why we are in different places that we are.
At least one point in the past 10 years, Alabama had the highest number of deployed troops. U.S. counterterrorism officials say they have a general sense of who is behind a reported plot to attack the U.S. around the 9/11 anniversary. Officials say the reported plot is to attack New York or Washington with a car bomb. They do not have identities yet, but they say there's at least one U.S. citizen among the 3 people. Police in both cities have increased the number of people on patrol. The nation's terror alert level has not changed, although officials say they were considering doing so last night. From presidents to people on the streets, the world stopped to remember the September 11th terrorist attacks. Jim Clancy has a sample of the international reaction.
A somber ceremony at the United Nations to mark 10 years since the 9/11 attacks. Similar feelings were expressed around the world. In Paris, French President Nicolas Sarkozy telling reporters he still keeps a memento, a small steel block of the Twin Towers rubble, in his office as a reminder.
When you, the United States of America, you got struck in the heart on 9/11, each French citizen felt struck too. The barbarians had chosen New York as the epicenter, but they could have chosen Paris. And at this time, we all felt like you, the targets of the enemies of democracy.
In many countries, people remember the attacks as if it were yesterday.
And seeing the plane fly across the screen, and just the shock. You were looking outside, wondering, who's next?
We couldn't believe what was happening. It was very brutal and very strong. Feeling of end of the world.
It was very shocking, rather, that a place like America can have this, such a tragic thing.
10 years later, people are divided on the overall effect of 9/11.
I think the world has paid great attention to fighting back with the terrorism, and I guess that is a good change.
I truly don't think the world is any safer now. It's the same or worse. Every day there is more fanaticism and people are acting crazier.
That view is shared by many people around the world 10 years later. Jim Clancy reporting.
The city of Tuscaloosa is holding a program marking the 10th anniversary of 9/11 Sunday at the Tuscaloosa Amphitheater starting at 6 o'clock. There will be special performances and an artifact from the World Trade Center on display. The program is free and open to the public. The entire nation was stunned by the terrorist attacks on 9/11. Now we're looking back at how people in West Alabama responded in the days after 9/11. 9/11 influenced many things, including music. The University of Alabama's $1 Million Band usually kicks off game day action at Bryant-Denny Stadium with favorites like Yay Alabama. But at the first game after the attacks, they made changes to reflect what had happened. Lynn Brooks has this story from September 21st, 2001.
The $1 Million Band is famous across the nation for its spirit-sparking cheers, but tomorrow the group will represent American pride, not just the Crimson Tide.
We did want to have some sort of tribute for the terrorist acts, and I'm working with athletics, so this is sort of a common effort, and it's very brief.
The pregame show usually features Bama favorites, but in light of the recent attack on America, the band is now playing totally different tunes.
we'll be playing a medley of America the Beautiful and asking people to join in with the Pledge of Allegiance. And very much it's a solemn affair.
The 340 band members have had to adjust to the changes quite quickly. A typical show requires about 4 weeks of practice. This time the group has had 4 days.
The show that we had done before this, we were supposed to do that again, but everyone's been okay with just skipping that and not doing that anymore and doing a tribute.
It just gives me goosebumps to be in front of everybody and just to have the opportunity to be there, but just to think about other people and the things that they've given up.
And for you faithful fans, don't worry, the band will still play all of your favorite Bama cheers.
Well, at halftime, we're going to be doing what we normally do at pregame, so it's new for halftime, but it's not new for us to do as a band.
That report was from September 21st, 2001. At that game, football players from both teams took to the field for the Pledge of Allegiance. A day of celebration for West Alabama veterans is set for this weekend. It's called the Picnic in the Park. The Tuscaloosa VA Medical Center is hosting the Welcome Home event this Saturday. The program is for returning combat veterans from Operation Enduring Freedom, Operation Iraqi Freedom, and now Operation New Dawn and their families. There will be free food, music, and games for the kids. Information on benefits and services will also be available. The Picnic in the Park is Saturday, September 10th from 10 until 2 o'clock. For more information, you can call 205-554-2000. The Tuscaloosa City Schools has started on a new journey of hope. It's part of the Save Our Children program to help children with storm recovery. According to school officials, 14 people are participating in special training to learn how to help kids affected by the April 27th storms. Each leader will meet with students in group settings for 4 weeks. The curriculum is designed to help children learn to deal with emotions left after a disaster.
Not only are coping skills and mechanisms identified for children, things that they can do, say, if you want to take the topic of anger, we give them the tools and mechanisms to use so that they can express their anger, understand that it's a healthy thing if they're angry, but that there are really also healthy ways to express that anger.
The program is paid for by a $172,000 grant from Save Our Children. Alabama fans heading to the Penn State game are headed to a state dealing with high waters because of what Tropical Storm Lee has caused near historic flooding in parts of that state. You're looking at video from Luzerne County, Pennsylvania. Tens of thousands of people have evacuated near the river there. According to the Penn State website, Center County was spared from the worst of Lee. Fans headed to Beaver Stadium should expect delays and should check roadway advisories often.